Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Inept General, and welcome to another online battle. Today I am playing as the Forces of Chaos. It's been a while since I've posted one of these, but I'm trying to get back into multiplayer a little bit, and because it has been a while and I'm a bit rusty, I decided to go for my old try and true Prince Sigvald the Magnificent, still looking rather magnificent as always. And he is joined by some Halberd Chosen, a couple of units of Forsaken in the back here, some Chosen, some Aspiring Champions, 2 units of them, some Dragon Ogres, and a unit of Chaos Knights, or 2 units of Chaos Knights next to each other. In the front, we have Chaos Warriors, and as some Missile Sponges, we have the Chaos Marauders. Now, this is a 2v2, and my ally, rather interestingly, set up way over here. Now, I'm trying to give you guys a sense of our line. So this down here was our line of deployment zone. And my thinking was that our opponent is most likely going to set up on this hill over here. So I set up here, giving us cover from the terrain. The opponent can't get any clear artillery shots over these steep hills unless they maybe have mortars, but mortars aren't too much of a threat to my chaos. Now, I'm showing this battle mainly because there's quite a few interesting things that happen that irk me a lot in these multiplayer battles when you're playing more than 1v1, and that's kind of people not necessarily registering teamwork and how positioning and teamwork can play into any victory you have. So separating our forces this far apart was suicidal. I was over here just before we started the battle, tempted to move over here, but I knew if I moved next to my opponent and they had set up artillery up on this hill, we'd be absolutely destroyed trying to get there just through their line of sight and where that hill was. So I said, screw it, if we get destroyed, I'm at least going to be tactically sound about it and place myself here. Now, usually in a 2v2, if you split your armies up like this, you are boned from the get-go. Your opponents will gang up on one of the armies and then move across to the other once they've finished. However, our opponents set up close enough together, but not quite in complete unification and conjunction. So my opponent, the Empire player, did very much set up on this hill. As you can see, there are some swordsmen, some spearmen, a whole line of gunners, but a lot of them are, if you'll notice, just below the crest of this hill. And for gunners, that's a nightmare. They don't have the arch of fire to get over these units and the crest of a hill. So that might come into the battle later on, and the dwarves set up down here. So you guys got the idea. Undead, me, my Chaos lads, against the Empire. So I was like, okay, this isn't too bad a scenario. Let's use the hill as cover and get going.
Very well, fool.
My guys went. We were covered from the dwarves. They couldn't get an angle on us. We're covered from the Empire. So we have a fairly clear run-in. Now you guys might be wondering what the Allies doing. Just sitting there in the woods. Chilling out, moving up a little bit. And the Darwi are trying to take shots at us over the terrain, but we're being protected by the hills. Now, there are some mortars here. And for my more valuable units, for these Chaos Knights, I'm just nestling them in the crest of this hill. So I knew they'd come up over here. Not only are there cannon, there's mortars, there's a Luminarch, and there's a steam tank. Now, they've realized I've kind of hidden my knights, and they can't see them, so they're trying to get a better shot by moving around. I'll give them a better shot, but on something I don't much care about, my Marauders. So my Marauders come charging up the hill, ready to soak up some fire. Now, I actually lost track of my guys a little bit, because the Forsaken, I forget, are much quicker than my normal foot soldiers, and we're actually starting to overtake the Marauders at this point.
This is the greatest trade. You'll see, the gods will reward. The traitor directs us.
They're raining down mortar fire. But I'm happy with them doing that. Now, the undead are moving their bats in to cause some distraction. I'm not sure what they were doing there with the bats. And they've moved a lot of their undead forces just up into these trees, very much distracting the Dwarven player. So So now there's no high quality infantry in this Empire army. So this is all swordsmen, and I'm actually quite happy to put Forsaken up against swordsmen. They'll do pretty well, particularly as the Thunderers didn't get in any volleys due to their position on the hill. They were already boned, and I'm engaging this front line now. So the Thunderers, these guys might get some shots off, but all of the Thunderers they had behind the front line there are in a bit of trouble. Now, I sent a cavalry unit whizzing past the Luminarch and the steam tank, knowing they were being targeted by them, and knowing this hill would provide me cover, and it's completely distracted these two quite risky units, and I'm absolutely delighted by that. My little ploy worked, and they're just trying to follow that one unit of cavalry around the hill. But as the rest of my Chaos forces start engaging this line, I'm okay with this engagement. Now the undead, just chilling in the woods, not worried about too much. They haven't even begun engaging the Darwi player. They have managed to distract him a bit with the bats, I suppose, if that was the aim. But the mortars and their position on the hill, they've now turned around, and my Chaos Knights are behind them. They still can't get a shot on them with these two units. Now there are some spears here, but I'm moving around my Dragon Ogres and my Halberds to take down these heavily armored units, and they are perfect for fighting a steam tank. And here come my Chaos Knights into the back of these gunners. They went the really long way around. They made it worth it. Now the Darwi player moved his organ gun over here to try and help out the Empire player, realizing that he's not even been engaged yet, and I'm already got this Empire player in a little bit of trouble. Sigvald causing some damage, killing some folk, as he's wont to do. And here's the Empire General trying to come for Sigvald. Pretty, I'd say, unwisely, really. Bit of a silly choice. He did knock him over. But so far, I've moved my knights over to deal with this organ gun. That's the organ gun done. And all these dwarf missile units are out here by themselves. No backup from infantry. All of their infantry is still facing that way, looking out for the undead. So my two units of cav are over here. Now just engaging these missiles, and they should do pretty well against them with some Chaos Warriors with halberds backing them up. Back on this side, Steam Tank, gone. Dragon Ogres did their job, along with those halberdiers. We'd already chased off the Luminarch of Hysh. And really now, that's essentially the Empire player done. His front line of weaker infantry could not hold up against the Chaos Warriors, and only now are the actual undead engaging in combat, which is good because they distracted all of this artillery that the dwarves had. That entire battle, firing into those woods and firing into undead, who of course have a great capacity for regenning. So at this point, Sigvald dealt with their general. My entire Chaos force is moving around the hill, and that's where they gave up. Now, again, not to the last man, but I just found that an interesting battle because just of the importance of positioning, number one, particularly if you're artillery heavy. They didn't position too closely together. We didn't, but by all rights, that should have actually ended us. But if only they were slightly more coordinated. We were very uncoordinated. They were slightly uncoordinated, and we were just very lucky with the terrain to take advantage and to be able to beat them quite handily in the end. And it's just a matter of stuff you have to watch out for when you deploy. Look out for terrain, look out for lines of sight. Basic stuff. I may be being a bit patronizing, and for that I apologize. But a battle I thoroughly enjoyed because I think a lot of that was decided before we even started the battle, just on where people had positioned themselves, what they were doing, and all that jazz. But kind of for me, a lucky escape, but also shows the importance of positioning defensively and offensively. But that was a thoroughly fun one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it too. We might have another look at that one, maybe from the perspective of the undead. Okay, guys, we're just going to take a look at this battle from a slightly different perspective. We're going to maybe follow what was going on the other side with the Darwi a little bit more closely this time. As you can see, the undead player was moving ahead, but he had zombies at the front and wasn't going to speed his other units past them, as neither should he. Just like get these cannon fodder units up there. But the Darwi, let's have a look at what they were up to this whole time. So they had 3 organ guns. 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 cannons? I had not realized how much artillery this army had. So they had 4 cannons and 3 organ guns, all firing down. This must just be Longbeards holding the front line. This is a weird army. They both picked this is a weird build. No idea why. No wonder he sent the bats forward just to take some fire. Cover them as the rest of his units were going across this path of clearness. So already on this side, here's the Luminarch. Here's the view that the gunners are seeing. As you can see, not great. Can't really get any shots off there. Oh, this guy got a shot off. Well done. There's a steam tank, the Luminarch. They're like, ooh, there's a target. Let's get him. Shot from the Luminarch going off. It did hit. Clipped them as they were going past. Then they ran into each other. Still running into each other slightly. And then they disappeared. Where have they gone? Down the hill. Going back across to the Darwi. So the bats were just trying to tie up some of the cannon. Terror guys being a distraction. Blood Knights took a lot of damage. Looks like they tried to go around early and take out these cannon. Just got absolutely punished. So the Darwi have sent up 2 units of Quarrelers. I'm not sure why he sent them up this hill. This is what I never really understood in this battle. Sent them up this hill. They couldn't see anything, which might be why I managed to sneak up on him from both sides with cavalry charges. But the rest of the undead are still moving, but slowly but surely. Taking a lot of damage, these skeleton warriors. Crypt horrors largely unharmed. Over here, cavalry charge straight into one of their other organ guns. Dealt with. Back to the undead, some more crumbling, a lot of crumbling going on. They've got a flame cannon, which is great versatile. How much artillery did this army have? That's nuts. What are they aiming for? Grave Guard. Blood Knights are back there, kind of recovering. Yeah, they are regen. Here comes a black coach. I always love to see a black coach. And the terror guys just coming in on the cannon. Our Chaos Knights are over here already by this point. A lot of Longbeards tied up here by... Oh no, it's not a lot of Longbeards, it's just a lot of undead tying up a lot of Longbeards. Black Coach. Getting some work done. And I think the Dwarves could have hung on for a bit longer, but alas, they were taken out slightly. And here we have the results screen. So Sigval did okay, respectably. 42 for the Marauders. That's pretty good, but I suppose they were up only against Spearmen. Forsaken did some great work. 118, 99. Chosen did some great work, but didn't have much to hit once they got there, because the Forsaken and the Marauders done so well. 115 MVPs for the Chaos Knights. Well, actually, 118 MVP for this unit of Forsaken. Did some absolutely stellar work. Steam Tank, 14. That's dreadful. Luminarch of Hish, 8. 7 and 18 for all the way upgraded mortars. And he upgraded all of these Thunderers who got almost no shot. Not Thunderers, gunners, handgunners, sorry. Who got almost no shots off just because where he put them on the hill. That was a bit of a shame. My ally only kind of just got into combat when the dwarf player gave up, so not a lot of kills there. And the dwarves, how did their artillery do? Had racked up some hits, but I suppose it was just all against skeletons. All their artillery had done some good work. 77, 73, 51, 77, 20. Oh, that's just so much artillery. I don't think I've seen a build with that much artillery in it before from one player. But once they were surrounded, I could see why they just sort of said, alright, screw this. They had the engineer and just some longbeards, a couple of quarrelers. But yeah, weird build from the dwarf player, but odd for the Empire player not to maybe compliment him. Just no real strong infantry there from the Empire. Was hoping to do all his damage with handgunners. And alas, it didn't work out. But hope you guys enjoyed that one. As always, thank you for watching. And a special thank you to my patrons, John, Reese, Colin, Thomas, Mateus, Samuel, and Nafis. Thank you guys, and as always guys, hope to catch you on the next one.